What's up, guys? Welcome back from the MLG offices in New York City. You're watching the Neo Star League 2013 Finals, a best-of-5 between Toodming and Jim. Find out who's the best in China and who takes home 10,000 RMBs. Right now, we got Toodming up 2-1 going into Game 4.
That's right, of course. 2-1 is a nice advantage to come up. That means he's match point, a single map away from winning. Map number 4 is going to be Red City. So, over here to top right-hand location, the man who is down 1-2.
He's not used to being down.
He's not. Invictus Gaming's Jim. And his opponent in the top left-hand location, up 2-1 against the Jim Credible himself. We have Toodming. You know, one thing I want to talk about a little bit about it is the map. Because this is a map used in GSL. Obviously, it's used in Chinese tournaments because we're seeing it being played right now.
Yep.
But I don't think it's on the ladder in Americas, unless I'm mistaken. I haven't played ladder for such a long time.
It is.
It is? It's on the ladder?
Yep.
Okay, so people may be familiar with that. I was thinking we haven't seen this in you know, like in WCS America and Europe, they don't use this map. So, anyways, for these guys.
I don't know if it was taken from the ladder, but I know
Okay.
I've played ladder games on Red City
On
before.
Red City?
On
Okay.
the Americas, yep.
Okay, so, but for those of you guys who aren't as familiar with this map, if you just watch a lot of StarCraft, if you watch a lot of European and American events, it's not, it will pop up here and there, but it's not quite as common as some others. In a lot of ways, it's similar to Whirlwind. It's a very large map, roughly the same size as Whirlwind. I think it's actually exact same size. And there's 4 different start locations in each corner of the map, right? You got your natural, pretty standard stuff. Now, the main difference between this map and Whirlwind is the navigation around the map. Whereas Whirlwind, it's all open and gigantic in the middle. In this map, like, this is the widest aperture you have in this whole map. It's all chokes, right? Chokes blocked by rocks, chokes not blocked by rocks, ramps over here.
Narrow corridors.
Narrow corridors.
Which is like a Protoss Candyland.
Exactly. It can be a Protoss Candyland in a lot of ways, but also all these narrow corridors. It's a Protoss Candyland for engagements, but if any people remember, like, early days of GSL, there's a map called Crossfire, which was a similar idea. It was a 2-player map, but similar idea. A lot of choke, you know, tight quarters. And for the first several months, it was Protoss Candyland. And then Zergs discovered, oh, you just base race. You don't do anything but base race. In all these quarters, there's so many different attack paths. You can sneak up, you know, the ramp. You can sneak up through the rocks. You can sneak up through this ramp. There's basically a ton of attack paths, right? So it can be very difficult to deal with the base racer on this map. Mutas are very popular. And also, in addition to that, it can be a little bit more tricky to keep Colossi alive against either Vikings or Corruptors because there's so many angles where your stalkers have a harder time being to protect them. But force fields are absolutely amazing.
Yep.
So you actually see a lot of 2-base timings if it's not cross map.
Looking at these positions.
Yeah, if it's not cross map, you can just.
That's like begging for like a mortal timing.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Right there. That hits the spot.
Yeah.
And you know, if Toodming knew about these positions, I mean, right now he just figured it out, right? But if he knew about it earlier, he might have taken this as a third base instead, right? This would be a more logical third. But I mean, he went 3 hatch before pull, and he did it without scouting first, because there are 4 spawns. It's like Whirlwind. You don't know where your opponent is, so he did kind of scout him a little bit on the late end, unfortunately. And until he had already. He had already built the 3 hatches, basically.
Yep.
Jim does not like rocks.
No. You have to take those guys out. They can be annoying. So I'm wondering, is Muta the best play here? Like, this is like the perfect situation for a Ninja Expo or Expo somewhere else, because your opponent's on your side of the map. Why are they going to go to the bottom right or bottom left to check on any Expos?
Jim really wants to put on some. He did a gateway expansion game. We're looking like he was to do 3-gate pressure. But on to Mutas. Mutas are great in this map if 2 things don't happen. One, you're not struck by 2-base timing. So first, you have to make sure Jim doesn't go for 2-base timing. Because if you try to go to Mutas against 2-base timing, it'll often just kill you, as your Mutas are spawning. And then the third thing is that you have to make sure he's not going mass air himself, which some Protoss might do. But it looks like he's going up to 4 gates. So we're going to see some heavy gateway pressure with Zealots early on. No proxy pylons up quite yet. In fact, Jim actually hasn't even scouted, so he doesn't know where his opponent is. Oh, I actually might have assumed it based on the Overlord coming from an angle over there. Gonna try to kill this Overlord. It's gonna try to sacrifice himself to get a little more scouting information done. Meanwhile, Toodming continues to drone up, but there could be a lot of zealots heading towards him fairly soon. He's got to be careful.
That's his main worry, making sure he keeps an eye on
Jim is now trying to find his opponent. And I think as Overlord was hanging around here, he might think Toodming's hit the bottom right. But he's really not. Oh, look at Jim. We talk about 2-base timings on this map and all the choke tight quarters. He's actually going to 3 gates. So this is going to be a very committed attack, but look how many sentries he has. See, he's warping a lot of sentries early. He's going to have a ton of force fields. And on a map like this with all the chokes, you know, if he progresses along this path like we talked about, is very choke and tight.
Is this 3 gases or 4 for Jim there?
2.
2?
2. Oh, 3. Sorry, I lied.
Yeah,
3.
Yeah.
Pardon me. So, I mean, he might add a 4th later, or I think he might not, because warping in sentries while you're attacking, each one only has 1 force field.
Yep.
Ideally, you just warp in zealots and stalkers, and you make a lot of sentries right now, but he might, I would not be surprised to see him make no more sentries from here on out. Meanwhile, Toodming has smelled this attack coming, and look at this. The advantage of a choke for Zerg, force fields are great. You know what else is great? Spine crawlers on top of a ramp, and force fields don't do anything against spine crawlers. If he can buy enough time to get these up, this attack is not going to break him, I don't think. Well, I'll have to work around and attack from a different
angle. This is a must-win here for Jim. He must win this game. He's coming across the map here along the top, and he's here before the spines are done, and he has to hit as fast as possible. He does. That's the advantage of this. You want to hit before the Zerg is ready.
He takes out the 2nd spine, working on the 3rd spine, force filling out the roaches. Wow, really great job. He
can just keep doing this all day long.
Well, until the spines get up, or until the more great force fields.
Yep.
There's only 1 spine left, and those spines are what kill the sentries, but sentries are starting to fall. He can't get that spine. The roaches are there to cover it.
A lot of lings and roaches coming out.
Yeah.
A lot of stalkers being warped in here from Jim. There's a time warp.
He's out of force fields, though. There's still 2 spines. He's out of force fields.
In Jim we trust.
In Jim we try. I don't know. Just. Oh, look at this. He's even getting Burrow. Oh, no. Once Burrow completes, Jim might be in world trouble. But right now, if he can push in, there are still only 2 spine crawlers. More warp-ins coming in for Jim. He's only down by 10 supply, and a lot of that supply is in less efficient units like roaches. But the concave from Toodming on top there, and great force fields there, isolating a lot of these roaches.
Time warp as well, but again, he's running fairly low on force fields.
No,
a lot
Burrow!
of stalkers being warped in. Yes, Burrow is done.
He can't even kill the roaches that he trapped. What is he doing against Mass Burrow? Oh, look at that, popping up on his army. But Jim has so many stalkers,
he's
can he make this work?
Out-muscle. He's just going to try to out-muscle, just make more units. But there's 17 roaches in production. I don't know if that's going to work.
Toodming typing in something in a foreign language there, a bunch of commas. Those aren't even commas, those are weird symbols.
Okay, so Jim is just focusing on, it's just stalkers at this point, just muscling down his opponent. But I think there might be too many roaches.
The time warp is slowing them down, more and more roaches pouring forward, speedlings as well to help against the stalkers. And he's burrow microing some of the roaches. Remember, when the roaches burrow, it regenerates at 5 life a second, so it can regenerate and get back into action.
Oh my god.
More zealots at the front. Zealots are very important to tank some damage, as you don't want to have the stalkers take too many hits. Great burrow micro from 2Dming. Look at that. Keeping the majority of these roaches alive, and then picking them back up again to pursue the stalkers. On creep, he can't kite. There is no road speed.
And there's a robo just being built right there.
I like how he builds the right in the face, because I mean, he has to. He's so committed, right?
GG, and there it is. 2Dming. He's going to be happy about that. He takes the 3-1 over Jim. That's impressive.
Very, very impressive game there by 2Dming.
He has a personality to him, too.
Yeah.
He likes dancing a bit.
He does.
Maybe that was for the foreign fans who love that, bit of personality.
Could be. Well, maybe Chinese fans might love it, too.
Maybe.
Awesome play there by 2Dming. He really showcased, a great sense of engagements. If you think about that, every single game, his engagements were very, very spot on.
Yep.
Jim's micro was, of course, impeccable as always. But as a Zerg player, if you set those engagements up so well, you can beat a Protoss, even one as good as Jim, if you just have the perfect engagements every time.
2Dming, if you haven't heard of him before, you're going to hear of him now. Taking out Jim. He is your champion of the Neo Star League 2013 tournament. He's going to take him 10,000 RMB. Jim, second place, gets 5,000. Of course, our third place finisher was Courage, who took out XY in that fourth place match.
And in US stars, I think it's something like, was it 7-1 roughly? So it's still a lot of money. It's still basically 2,000 for first place or close to there.
Sure.
And then like $1 or like $800 for second place. It's still a lot of money, and of course, title of top Chinese player, at least for the moment.
Yeah, amazing stuff there from 2Dming. Huge congrats to him, guys. If you missed anything VODs, youtube.com/official MLGSE2. Rebroadcast going to be played as well, so definitely enjoy these awesome matches. It's been a pleasure being able to cast and bring to you guys a tournament from China about these players that we don't necessarily know a lot about. Try to connect them a little bit more with the non-Chinese audience and hopefully get some more exposure to them. But really cool tournament, Neo Star League 2013, and we got some more stuff planned for Chinese tournaments as well. So definitely stay tuned as far as that's concerned. But that's going to do it for us right now. Tomorrow we have. Should we talk about schedule?
Yes. So tomorrow, of course, starting at noon Eastern, it's going to be the ESET Masters Season 2 Finals.
What are some names? Do we know some names who are in that?
I can find some names in a second. I did know them, but I know too much, and it's like the memory in the back, right?
Yeah.
So the hard drive, it's not on the RAM, so it takes a couple seconds to bring it up. But it'll be brought up with the aid of the interweb.
Good.
Yes.
There we go. And that's going to be tomorrow at noon, and it's going to go pretty much all day long. And then we always have a lot of fancy stuff going on.
All right. In fact, the brackets are up for this tournament as well somewhere. But here's the players list, because I remember seeing the brackets, I think, earlier. The player list, my 3 picks to win this would be Hyun, MMA, or Stardust. So if you scroll up here a little bit, you can see there's the Zerg list, the Terran, and Protoss. You've got about 8 to 10 Koreans in this tournament. The rest players from Europe.
Jeez.
A lot of German players in particular, but we got someone from the UK called Orc. It's a cool name. And all these players are very good. Like earlier when we were watching the ESL Euro Series semifinal matches, we were seeing like Happy Zerg play. We were seeing, we saw Happy Zerg. We saw someone else here as well. Hero Marine. He looked very convincing. We saw Straylock. Straylock was a guy who had like his best of 3 took maybe over 2 hours for the best of 3. It was like the shortest game was like a 25-minute game.
That's crazy.
The other 2 were like 50 minutes. It was pretty epic. Look for Straylock if he gets a TVZ to turtle out with mech and make a lot of battle cruisers. Pretty awesome to watch battle cruisers.
Cool. Well, that's going to be starting tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. But awesome tournament there. Neo Star League 2013 as well. Jim falling to Toodming. Did you expect that, Mr. Axel?
Honestly, I did not.
I
I thought Jim was
take
unbeatable,
it.
man.
Yeah. Toodming.
Like we watched Jim crush everyone playing from China to the America server.
Yep.
And like playing from Korea to America is fine. Playing from China, they're behind like that secret firewall or whatever, and
Sure.
they have like it's insane trying to play outside of China from Chinese server. And you watch how he plays then, and then even today it showed. He saw his micro was just impeccable, but Toodming was I feel like Toodming kind of outsmarted him in a lot of the games. Really. Just kind of knew how to beat Jim. He knew how to beat Jim.
I want to see Toodming try to qualify for WCS.
Yes.
We'll keep an eye on that. But again, look out for those Chinese players. They're playing on that Korean ladder a lot, and they're doing very well. But guys, that's going to do it. Rebroadcast coming up next. Stay tuned. And again, if you're ever looking for any awesome video game content, MajorLeagueGaming.com is your source. YouTube.com/official MLGSE2. We'll see you next time.